How are you going to create more opportunities and take the proper actions when you're out of a place of scarcity? You're not. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia Gogan. If you are new, and if you were new, don't forget to subscribe because it's a good time over here. Also, I have a podcast. Don't forget to listen to that, the Glow Up Secrets podcast. And of course, follow me on Instagram so you can see what I'm doing, what I'm wearing, what I'm thinking, and you can just connect with me a little bit deeper on there. You might be asking why I'm standing. And I wish I was standing to make it seem as if I'm actually being serious about this topic right now, but truly I'm standing because my lower back hurts. And I've been working from home so much that I need to stand. So I actually have my standing desk in front of this camera right now, and I'll actually link it if you are looking for a standing desk. I got one off of Amazon for like 160 bucks. I mean, yeah, no, it's a good price. It's a good price and it does the trick. And it really helps if you are constantly sitting down all the time at home, if you work from home. Also, the shirt is from Pretty Little Thing. I will link it down below if you're interested. Okay, it's the new year. Like it's basically the new year, which means we need to talk about finances. We need to talk about entering our rich women era. I was gonna say another word, but we're just gonna keep it safe here. How to enter your rich woman era. So in my teens and my early 20s, I was not good with my money. I had the worst spending habits. I didn't understand money. I was not ever taught anything really good about money other than just live paycheck to paycheck. I didn't come from money. I was spending way more than I had. I also had a lot of expenses in terms of like health expenses and expenses that just needed to be paid for, which made it a little bit more difficult for me to save and invest, even though I didn't even really know how to save and invest back in the day. And through my college years, moving into my early 20s, I was in debt. I was in school debt, but I was also in consumer debt. So the debt that's not needed, the debt that accumulates when you spend way more than you make off of impulse buys, off of things you really don't need. And I remember when my financial situation really hit me like a brick. Like I always knew that I didn't really have that much money and I wasn't like a rich girl. I didn't really have anyone around me that was quite wealthy. I didn't really come from money. So I wasn't really that aware of how bad my financial situation was until I remember I came back home from college. I dropped out of one of my programs that I had because I didn't get enough like OSAP money or something. I don't even know, it was such a long time ago. It took about like 6 months and then I started getting debt collectors calling me about how I owe money from a school loan that like I didn't pay to the school when I left, and it went to collections. And basically collections, it's not a good phone call. You don't want to get collectors calling you because at that point you have missed your minimum payments. You have missed your opportunity to be able to create a payment plan. Basically, the school said, I'm not gonna come knocking on your door anymore for the money. I'm gonna bring it to the government or bring it to the higher ups and they're gonna take care of it. The problem with that though, when your debt goes to collectors, it's gonna ruin your credit and there's gonna be a lot of interest on that. So when I became very aware of this and my mom explained to me, yeah, like it's not good, and I did my research, I realized, holy crap, I need to get my life together. And in this moment, I was around, again, I don't even remember the exact age, but maybe like 18, 19, 20, around then, I was starting to become an adult. So I started to realize like credit's important. I wanted a car. I wanted to live my dream life. I wanted all these things, but in wanting all these things, I realized my actual financial situation was really bad. I had collections. I wasn't even making a lot of money because I just had a server job. Like I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I literally had no help. So like when I wanted to buy my first car, I didn't have any savings. So I knew I had to finance my car, but I couldn't really finance my car because I didn't have good credit and I didn't have anyone around me to co-sign because my mom didn't have good credit and no one around me really had money like that. So my life was just a mess and it really hit me like a ton of bricks, and I said, you know what, no, I am going to get my ass up and work because this is not gonna be my life. I am not going to create the same patterns that I've seen in my parents. I'm not gonna create the same patterns that I see around me. It's not gonna happen. I am a responsible person. I can do this. I'm gonna learn how to pay off my debt. I'm going to learn how to make more money. I'm going to learn about money. I'm going to learn how to budget, how to do these simple things that I was never taught. There was also really important things in my life, like I said, these health expenses. Basically, it was like my teeth. Like I had a lot of cavities in my teeth for many health reasons, and I knew that if I didn't put work into my teeth that they would be really, really bad. So I also didn't have any benefits. I didn't have like a mom who could put me on a benefit plan or anything like that. So I had to pay cash for my teeth and all that stuff. I came to a point where I was like, okay, these are the most pressing things that I need to get done, and I'm gonna do them. And getting my financial situation and really my life together really allowed me to be able to step into my rich woman era, which is where I'm at right now. I have truly worked myself up from the bottom. Am I all the way at the top? No, we still have so much work to do. We need to learn more about investing. We need to save more money. We need to grow our money more, all of that kind of stuff. But with that said, because I am once again entering just this new era of really becoming wealthy and rich, there are a lot of things that I had to do before I was really able to enter this era. There were mindset shifts and there were practical things that I needed to do. And I'm going to tell you how you can do the same in this video. Okay, we can't talk about money and wealth without talking about mindset. And the truth is, if you aren't wealthy and you don't have money, then most likely you didn't come from good beliefs around money. You probably grew up with people who had beliefs about money, like there's never enough money, money comes and goes, we have to live paycheck to paycheck, money is a root of all evil. Whatever it is, most likely you have been brought up or raised by people or one person or somebody who has taught you certain things about how you can make money, how you can access money, and really what to believe about money. So you need to look back into your childhood, into your adult life, and see your influences and who has taught you about money and the patterns that these people were in and that you are now in, and the cycles. So for me, it was always really just only having enough money. My parents really only ever had enough money, and when I started actually making money myself, when I started working when I was like 15, I picked up the same habits as them, as we only have enough money. I didn't learn about saving, I didn't learn about how to spend my money correctly. It was just, I had a certain amount of money and then I would spend it however I wanted until I got my next paycheck. And I remember thinking back to my parents when all my other friends would get Blackberries and I couldn't get a Blackberry phone because I wasn't able to, like my parents didn't have credit to be able to put me on like a finance plan, and they wouldn't just buy the phone outright. So I used to always think when I'm able to get credit, like my credit's gonna be so good, I'm gonna be so good with money and I'm not going to screw up like my parents, blah, 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 blah. Now, I wanna say I did a very good job at not being exactly like them, but I still subconsciously had a lot of same patterns that they had as well. And once I was aware of the fact that I was subconsciously acting and spending money the way that my parents did, or had this scarcity mindset, or thinking about money very short term, I realized that that mindset and those cycles and those patterns were not gonna serve me. I needed to pick up a new belief, and that's what you're going to need to do. What you have been doing in the past with your financial situation clearly is not working. If you're looking online for videos like this because you need help, which is totally fine, amazing, you should be doing that. But you need to realize what you've been doing, the patterns, the beliefs around money and everything, it's not serving you. So you need to first be aware of the mindset you're in, the beliefs that you hold about money, and realize where that is getting you. It is not getting you to your rich era. Now, what's really gonna help you with this is to be around and study people who are actually wealthy, who actually are good with their money, that spend money, that know how to invest, save, spend wisely, all of these things. Because I remember when I was younger, I didn't have anyone around me that was good with money. Everyone was living paycheck to paycheck. And on top of that, when social media came out, I was influenced by all the wellness influencers and all the fitness influencers who had the means to buy the new supplement, to buy the new outfit, to buy the this, that, and the third. Those were not good influences for me because I didn't have the money and the means the way that they did. So you have to be very careful about who you are watching, who you're letting influence, what spaces you're moving around in. What are your friends' money habits? What are your parents' money habits? What is your boyfriend's money habits? What are all these things? And again, it's not to just blame everyone else, right? But it's to see that these people also have an influence on how you are spending your money. Surround yourself with people who are good with their money, who have good beliefs with money as well. That's another thing. And remember, just because somebody has money and has been successful doesn't mean you need to adopt their belief pattern. That's why I say it's good to understand somebody's beliefs about money, because there's so many rich people out there, but they get rich through different ways of thinking and acting and making their money. So I want to be wealthy and enter my rich era from a place of alignment, a place of working smarter, not harder, not from a place of grinding and hustling and being so frugal to the point where I'm not living my life. I don't want to get rich like that. I don't have any desire to. Now, it might resonate with you and you can do that way, but just remember there's always another way as well. So being very aware of if you are getting influenced by someone or you're taking tips from somebody, well, what do they actually believe about how you can get wealthy? Another thing that you need to stop doing is to be in this scarcity mindset. Now, I know it is so hard to not be in a scarcity mindset when you don't have money, when you're in a financial rut, when you are not making enough, when you are just stressed about money. But I need to ask you a question. How is stressing about money and your negative circumstance going to get you the opposite of this negative circumstance, which is being broke? You stressing every waking day about money is not going to get you there. Being so scared and afraid and wondering when and how am I gonna do this and stressing about money is not gonna help you. And I know it's really hard to not stress about money because it's your reality. And I used to be in such a scarcity mindset, stressing over absolutely every single thing I spent, just regretting all the things that I spent my money on, looking at everyone else's financial circumstance and being like, oh my gosh, I'm not there yet, and just stressing and worrying and waiting and obsessing. That is not going to get you rich. I'm telling you that right now. What's gonna get you rich is the beliefs that you hold about money and the belief that you have within yourself to be able to create the opportunities to bring more money in. And when you have that mindset and you're in this more abundance mindset, you are going to be able to take action that will align you to more opportunities and more money. When you start to take action based off of scarcity, you run yourself into a wall. You overwork, you overproduce, you try all of these random things that are just gonna make you money, but you get burnt out because it's not even something that you wanna do. It can truly be a mess. Now, I'm not gonna say that realizing that you're in financial stress is not a good thing to a certain extent, because that's what's gonna get your ass up and work. But it comes to a point where once you realize, okay, this is my situation, let me get myself sorted, stop stressing about money. Like, I don't want to hear it anymore. But we're gonna talk about some practical ways in which that you can set up your life so that you don't stress about money so much. So once I realized my financial situation was crap, I needed to make a plan. And the biggest thing that I wanted to do was to pay off debt, because that felt like the heaviest thing to me. And why it's important to pay off debt really more than anything is because of the high interest. And what I'm gonna say about creating financial goals is you might have to take it slow. Yes, do we all want to pay off debt and save a bunch of money, invest it, also invest in ourselves and have all this emergency funds in every single fund? Yes, we all want that, but sometimes when you're starting at the bottom, you need to have like one little goal. So writing out a few financial goals is going to be important before you even create any sort of budget, because you really need to take inventory of like where you're trying to go and what you really want to work towards. Now, when we're talking about budgeting, I know no one wants to hear it, and listen, I am not a frugal person, but at the same time, I do understand the importance of knowing what your expenses are and how much money you are making. And this is important because this is going to allow you to see how you need to change your spending habits and or how to create more wealth or create more money to come in so that you can have a balanced checkbook, if you will. So when it comes to budget, you need to write out all of your expenses for everything. I've gotten really good at this because I've had to do this for a very big part of my life. I'm 27 now, so it's not something that's new to me, but it might be new to you. And you might think you know what your expenses are, but I really highly suggest that you sit down and you write out every single thing that you have to pay for in a month. And even in a year, because there's gonna be certain times of the year where you're gonna spend more. Like right now, in the winter time, I am getting my new snow tires on and I have a car. Like there's definitely like more quarterly expenses that might occur. Either way, you wanna write down everything that you have to pay for. And then you're gonna look at your income. What are you making? Do you even make enough to pay for all these things? And what I'm gonna say about your budgeting is that you want to add in your debt as well. Any debt, any investing, like saving, all that stuff goes into the budget. So it's not just your groceries and your car payment and whatever. It's like you wanna budget, you wanna add in everything, encompass everything. Now, one of my other goals when I was in financial debt was obviously one was just to pay off debt. But in that same time, like I really wanted to build my credit. So when I had the goal to build my credit, I knew that I needed to make sure anything that I had on a credit card, I was paying off every single month and I wasn't missing it. So I didn't have a bunch of money. Like, first of all, my spending habits were still bad even when I had credit. But the reason why my credit score never got bad, even when I had bad spending habits, was because I was making sure that all the minimum payments were all paid, and eventually I was like paying off just enough. But again, that's still not the best. It's a better habit to have, but it still I wasn't there yet because I was still like overspending, and we're gonna talk about that. But that's just a tip for anyone who has a goal of actually creating a better credit score. Having systems in place, so having automatic payments being directly taken out of your bank account and making sure every single month that you're on your stuff is gonna be so incredibly important, even if you're still bad with your money, even if you're not making a lot of money. That needs to be a priority. So in order to get yourself out of this like maybe financial crappy situation that you might be in, or just like maybe not the ideal rich girl era that you want to be in yet, there's usually two things that one must do. And hopefully you can do both, but you might only be able to do one at a time. And I could only do one at a time when I was younger. And that is to spend less and make more money. If you want to build a lot of wealth, in my opinion, more money, it is good to do both. So let's first talk about spending less money first. This is where people have a lot of resistance, especially if you make enough money to get by, you're not like dead broke. But spending less money is really gonna help take some pressure off of your financial situation if you're just really stressed, especially if you are not making any extra income at this moment and you're kind of stuck in a certain job that's like really not getting you higher up the ladder. So here's a few tips that you can implement to help you spend a little bit less money without feeling like you are just like on this budget and you can't live your life. So one is going to be to wait to purchase items. We, especially with social media, we get influenced all from everyone. Oh, you should get this new book. Oh, get a new mirror. Oh, you need a new shirt. Oh, you need new shoes. Like you need all of these things. A lot of the times, one, we're just influenced, but two, we don't need to have that thing right now. So if you are somebody who tends to impulsively spend, learn how to wait for things. And I literally was so bad at this when I was younger. I would not wait for anything. Like literally, if I had a credit card, well, I can just get it now. Why would I wait? But the truth is, when you are not waiting for things, you're not even giving yourself a chance to just even realize if that's something that you're gonna even utilize. There were so many books that I would buy off a whim because I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna change my life. But it didn't even change my life, and I didn't even have enough time to get to reading the book. Like when I see somebody talk about a new book, I'll add it to a list on my Amazon, but I won't actually purchase it until I know that I'm ready to be able to sit down and read a book. So asking yourself the question of like, will I even use this thing right away? How many times will I use this thing? Do I need this right now? Can I save? Can I wait a little bit longer? And also when you wait a little bit longer for these things, you actually value them a lot more because you've waited and you've worked and you've saved up. Another thing to do when it comes to spending less is to find dupes. So I was actually just watching Haley Gamba's new video about how to live luxury on a budget. She has a really good video on that if you're somebody who, you know, you like you want to live a luxury lifestyle and you're maybe in your like whatever years you're in and you're making enough money to buy things, but you're borderline spending too much, then definitely go check out that video because she has some really good tips on like how to find dupes for things. Because literally sometimes I'm like, why would I spend thousands of dollars on an expensive purse when I'm really not that rich yet, when I can literally just find a dupe? Now, to each their own with the dupes, but go check that video out. But looking around and finding dupes and asking questions can definitely help you save some money. Another thing to help you spend less money is to romanticize your life, especially your self-care practices, especially things that you might spend to outsource that you actually could learn to do it yourself. I know we all hear you could just make your coffee at home instead of spending money on Starbucks. And this is why I throw in the word romanticize, because what some of us will do when we realize we want to spend less money is we will tell ourselves we have to cut out Starbucks completely. But going to Starbucks, it's a way to romanticize your life, right? It's like just a vibe to be able to go and get this Christmassy drink or this drink that you don't usually have, and it's just like amazing. But if you're wanting to cut down on spending money at Starbucks or going to get your nails done or going to get your hair done, you still want to make it like a routine, like a whole vibe at home. Because if you don't, you're not going to probably do it. So let's say you want to stop spending your money getting your nails done. You know it's just costing too much money, but you are somebody that still really wants their nails done. Well, you don't have to not get your nails done anymore. But sometimes it's important to still make it a whole night. Take some time out of your day to really pamper yourself and make it feel as if you're actually going to the salon. Because what I used to do is I would tell myself, okay, you can't get your nails done, you have to do it at home. But doing your nails at home randomly on the couch while you're watching TV and you're just like, or you have to go out in like 10 minutes, it's not really fun, and then you just skip it and you're like, nah, screw it, I'm not gonna do it. And then you get really annoyed that your nails are never done, and then you go back to the nail salon and you spend the money. So I think it's important that when you're trying to do anything at home that you make it almost like it's a professional thing. So when you wanna do your nails or your hair or create a Starbucks drink at home, do your research. There are so many people online that will teach you how to do your nails professionally, or cut your hair professionally, or do a hairstyle that you usually would do at the salon professionally. Make it a whole professional vibe. And I think something that is really empowering when you do this is not only, yeah, you're saving money, but you're actually learning how to do something for yourself instead of just spending money just completely on convenience. Another big thing I always see everyone else do, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money that you're spending, and that is eating out. Like, I make most of my food at home. I do that because it's a healthier option. And when I'm healthy, I end up spending less money because I'm not constantly eating out over and over. So I think it's really good that if you're trying to spend less, to create a plan. If you work a 9 to 5, even if you work at home, whatever you do, on a Saturday or a Sunday, you wanna write out a meal plan on what some of the things, the main themes that you're gonna have throughout the week, and go to the grocery store and buy groceries. You're an adult, even if you don't identify as being an adult yet, maybe you're really, really young, you can go and buy groceries and make your food at home. Trust me, you will thank me later. And again, these tips that help you actually spend less money, it's not just about spending less money. It's the fact that you're actually spending more time empowering yourself. You're getting healthier. You're doing things on your own. You're becoming an adult, which I find helps you when you are somebody who needs to maybe cut down a little bit and go more on a budget. So of course, another thing that's really helpful is to actually make more money so that you don't have to feel like you can't live life at all. Now, this can be difficult because you might be in a time right now where you're kind of stuck at a job where, like I said, you might not be making enough an hour. But if you are looking to make more money, you have to look at the industry that you're in. You have to look at your future, the direction that you're going in. And you also have to see what you're doing in your free time. So this is what happened for me. When I was in a bad financial situation and I was getting like my goals aligned, and I was creating a plan and a budget and systems and really learning over time how to not spend so much money on certain things, it took a while. But when I was in that whole era, I still wasn't really making a lot of money. And so I decided, okay, well, I need to have some sort of career that's gonna make me money. And I didn't actually go into school with the sole idea of like, this thing needs to make me money, which is definitely a good thing. And I'm happy that I didn't do that. But I did think about my future and the fact that I needed a job and a career or something. So when I went to school, I got a job as a health and wellness consultant. It was basically like a 9-to-5 salary job, but it wasn't paying me enough. And so I decided, because I was a server before, that I was gonna get a second job. I had to, like, I really had no option because I had goals and I wanted to so badly not be in this crappy financial situation anymore. I decided I was gonna sacrifice some of my time to serving, to bartending, to making some more money an hour. Now I wanna paint a quick picture here on what I was doing. In this situation, I was just working harder. I was working really hard. I was working 2 jobs. One job was not paying me enough, but I was there because I went to school for that thing and I knew I had some goals and I wanted to work towards them. I was just working hard until I learned how to work smart. So what I realized over time was I was always working. And I still didn't feel like I was having enough money. I literally worked like 7 days a week. I would work Monday to Friday, and majority of those nights I was working as a server, and on the weekends I was always working as a server. Like there was literally never any time that I had to myself. And after a while I started to realize, okay, this is not gonna work for me. This main job that I have is not paying me enough. And if I continue to stay here, it's going to keep me down. It's taking all of my time and it's not making me money. And another thing that I came to realize was I didn't actually even want to be in that industry anyways. Like my goal wasn't to move up the ladder. So when it comes to realizing that you're not getting paid in a certain job, there's actually 3 things you can do. You can either stay there and really feel like you're in this rat race of going nowhere. You can build up your skills and have a goal of, okay, I'm going to bring myself up the ladder so I can make more money, or I'm going to look somewhere else. And because I realized I didn't want to be in this industry, I decided I need to look somewhere else. So I decided, because I had a second job and I was working as a server and I was making at least 3 times more money an hour, I said, you know what? It's not something that I want to really have to do, is to leave my salary 9-to-5 corporate job and go back to serving, but I have a goal, and that goal is to not have to work every second of my life. So I'm going to leave this job and do serving full time, make way more money, bank my money, get better at saving my money and spending my money and all of these things. And as I'm doing that, I'm gonna focus on what I'm truly aligned to do. And that's what I did with starting my social media. I did that for about 1.5 years, and now I'm here. I'm not a server anymore. I'm doing this full time. But when it comes to working more, it's important that you realize it's actually about being smart and not working harder. You might have to, for a short amount of time, work 2 jobs like I did. And that was a grind. But I came to a point where, you know what, I'm gonna be smart about what I'm doing instead of just working hard, because working hard is, a lot of people work hard and they still don't get anywhere. It's not just about working hard. It's about systems, it's about being smart, it's about being aligned, it's about creating new beliefs, it's about changing your habits. It's not just about working hard. There's a lot of people who have 2-3 jobs that are just grinding it out. And I did that until I realized that that wasn't working. And so even though I left my corporate job, when I was working my serving job, it still wasn't peaches and roses, because I knew I didn't want to stay there. So every time that I wasn't at my serving job, what did I do? I focused on learning and growing and building my social media platforms. Now for you, that might not be building a social media platform. You might not even know what you want to do. But my suggestion to you is, if you have free time, start learning a new skill, start reading books, start educating yourself, start to open doors for yourself so that opportunities can come to you, so that you can bring more money to you. No one's going to do it but yourself. When you are done your 9-to-5, that you know that you don't want to go any higher in, and that you're miserable and you're stressed about and you're complaining about, but you're doing nothing in your free time to create more opportunities to you, then you're not gonna be successful. And this also doesn't mean that you need to like start an actual side hustle, which I also think that most people should really do, and I think a lot of people are doing as well now. But your first step could just be getting curious at what you are actually interested in and spending your time learning and growing, instead of wasting your time scrolling on TikTok, watching Netflix, really doing nothing with your life. If you are unhappy with your situation, your financial situation, only you're the only person that's going to be able to get yourself out of that. So what are you doing in your free time? One thing I will say, when I was working on my side hustle while I was still serving, is I learned how to work smarter, not harder, even when I was doing 2 jobs. So because of what I wanted to do, which was to become a content creator, I had to create a lot of videos and podcast episodes and YouTube. So I had to create a lot of systems and time batching and planning. It's important that you have these things in place when you're trying to do really anything. So when I would have night shifts, so I'd start at like 5 p.m., I would pick 1 or 2 days out of the week where I was gonna sit down and film 2 to 3 videos, or when I was doing TikTok, I would batch film like 5 videos from having a plan and creating what I wanted to actually say, and I would film all of those. I would make sure they were all edited and ready to upload. So throughout the week, I was able to drop the videos throughout the week. So I wasn't doing so much. I wasn't every single day sitting down and recording. And that really helped me be able to grow over time. I wasn't burnt out, but at the same time, I was still working towards my purpose. I think that's the thing that people get a little tripped up with when it comes to working on a side hustle, because you're tired when you're working a 9 to 5. You're tired when you have a whole life, especially if you have kids or you have family, you relationships, you have all these things going on. But you have to learn how to work smarter within whatever you're doing in order to be successful as well, which means systems, time batching content. When you're driving to work, you're listening to a podcast or a audiobook. You're learning as you go. When you're going to the gym, when you're on the treadmill, you're learning about something that you really want to pursue in your life instead of just listening to music, which you can totally listen to music, but it's just really important to be smart about, okay, how can I fit this little thing into my day or that little thing? And you don't have to be overly productive, but it's important that if you are trying to build a life of your dreams, you need to start to be smart and aware of how you can create this life. Another thing that one of my friends was talking to me about, because she's trying to work on basically a side hustle herself, she was saying, well, it's hard for me to put time into something that I don't know if I'm gonna get a return on. Meaning, let's say you wanna become a content creator, when you're doing a 9 to 5, when you come home, you're filming. You're not being paid to film these videos. But you have to remember, like, this is for the long game. You are creating something for yourself that over time will pay off. And I think part of that is you need to have belief in yourself, for one, when you're trying to do something, but also realize it's okay if you fail. It's okay if what you're trying to do, you end up having to change a little bit, because how are you gonna figure out what you even wanna do in your life unless you try? Like, people always wanna know the answer and be like, okay, well, I need to know I'm gonna be successful and make money with this side hustle, or I'm not gonna do it. Well, you don't know unless you try. Or people wanna know what their purpose is, or what they should be doing in terms of becoming a content creator, or just anything in general. Well, you're not going to know until you actually try. When I first started TikTok, I was talking about a lot of different topics that I'm talking about now. And only through trial and error did I actually figure out, oh, okay, I like this direction. Oh, I'm really good at this thing. So when it comes to building a side hustle or doing anything, and when you're trying to create a career or monetize something that you really love to do, you need to just try things out. And remember, these are things that are for the long game. This is not a temporary, like, I'm gonna make money now. Your 9 to 5 or your serving job or whatever you're doing, that's gonna be the money that's gonna make to pay your bills right now, which is very smart to do. But when it comes to your side hustle, just think about it as like a long investment. But the thing is, a lot of us don't have that mentality of investing in ourselves, right? Investing in your education, or when you're coming home from work and you're deciding to read a book, or you're deciding to take a course where you don't really know where that's going to lead you, but that's actually an investment in yourself. And you need to invest in yourself, because you are the one that's going to create this wealth for yourself. And one thing I want to say about side hustles, when you're trying to invest your time into working towards something, make sure it's something that you like to do. Make sure it's something that makes sense, that you know something about, that you're interested in. Do you need to know exactly that you're gonna end up being in this industry or talking about this topic or whatever? No, you don't need to be certain 100%, because things can change. But don't just start a side hustle based out of, okay, well, this can make me money. Sure. Are we doing side hustles because yes, obviously it's going to create some more income? Yes, of course. But you can do anything these days. You can monetize anything you're interested in. You can monetize, you can make money, you can create something. Anything is possible. You need to have that mindset though. And I personally believe when you are doing a side hustle or just trying to make money in general, and you're not even checking in to see if this is something that you're good at, you even like doing, that you could see yourself doing in the future, it's because you're acting out of scarcity again. You're acting out of the scarcity of the desperation of, oh my gosh, I need to do it now, da, da, da. And I get it. I get why you might be in a situation right now where it's like, I need to make money now. How am I gonna do this? Like, I need to start something. But it's important that you always check in with yourself when you are trying to pursue something and ask yourself why. Is it just because money? Am I scared? Or am I actually really interested in this thing and I just wanna see where it's gonna take me? Take the pressure off of having to make money with everything you do. Seriously. Once I stopped doing that, I got really good at what I was doing. I stopped looking at what everyone else is doing. I stopped following all the trends. I stopped comparing myself. I stopped getting in my own head, in my own way, stressing and obsessing. I dropped the scarcity mindset. I dropped being so afraid of everything, and I had trust in myself, and I went for what I really wanted. I made sure that I surrounded myself with people who had good beliefs about money, taught me how to actually spend money wisely, invest money, be better with money. I started to become aware of what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. I made a plan. I started to get my goals in alignment. But the main thing that I think that really allowed me to step into this abundance to the point where I'm making the most money I have ever made doing exactly what I love to do. And that was dropping the scarcity mindset, dropping the obsession and the stress and the worry and the waiting and the when. I know it's hard when you are in a situation where it's not ideal, or you want to be rich, you want to be wealthy, you want to be the ideal version of yourself. But ask yourself this question: how are you going to get to this version of yourself if you're stressing over all of the crappy things that are going on in your life? How's that gonna happen? How are you going to create more opportunities and be a happier individual and take care of yourself and take the proper actions when you're out of a place of scarcity? You're not. I pursued so many things and invested so much money so quickly without thinking because I was so scared and I wanted to make money. I used to spend money on like get rich quick, like programs with business online, like all of these random things because I was like trying to make money and I was like so scared and just so stressed. It comes to a point where you need to chill out and relax. Look at your situation, create some goals, create a structure, create some systems. And if you're looking to make more money on the side, make sure it's something that you're interested in doing. And if you're really struggling with getting into the abundance mindset and being able to manifest things and you know that you're doing things out of scarcity, I actually created a journal prompt guide and it's called the Abundance Mindset. And I created that guide when I was really becoming aware of the fears that were getting in the way of my manifestations, of creating the wealth that I wanted to. I was getting in my own way. I was acting out of scarcity. I was acting out of fear. I was pursuing things based off of what everyone else is doing because I felt like I needed to catch up, blah, blah, blah. And I realized that that wasn't working. Once I dropped the scarcity mindset and stepped more into the abundance mindset, that is when, first of all, I manifested my biggest brand deal I ever did. And I've manifested way more money since then. Not only that, I was able to connect with my inner child, the parts of me that felt so afraid in the first place, the parts of me that were stuck in fight or flight because of my childhood, growing up poor, not having money, having really bad relationships with myself and money and just everything in life. These are very deep-rooted things. So if you're in a situation right now that you want more and you want to step into your rich era, doing these practical things are definitely helpful, getting a budget and getting your stuff aligned. But at the end of the day, it's like the work starts deep internally. This is what I'm all about on my channel. So it's really important that you do take a look at the beliefs that you hold and how you're operating out of, what mindset are you operating out of? Are you out of scarcity and stress and fight or flight? And again, it's not to say that we can't ever be afraid or stressed or think about the fact that our financial situation is a little bit crappy, because that's what's going to help us get aligned and make the right decisions and steps. But once you start to realize what it is and get yourself in order, stop stressing about money. Seriously, stop stressing about money. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope you guys enjoyed. You guys are going to enter your rich woman era this year. I will have more content like this if you want. Let me know in the comments if you want more budgeting or more just, I don't know, like content creation stuff, side hustle stuff, any type of content, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. I love you guys so much and enjoy your day. Bye.